Well, we've been asked to provide a demonstration of the use of polar tracking in the gCADPlus environment. The first thing to do is to right-click and go to Drafting Settings and to the Polar Tracking tab. And in my case here, let's just move that a little. I want to put a series of Mondo graphs around there. I have a Mondo graphs symbol and I want to copy it easily and quickly both across and down. So I'm going to say enable a distance step with polar tracking, turn polar tracking on. Notice you can use a function key to do that. And I've set, this is an example from the metric environment, and I've set a value of 150. So polar tracking is on, and that's why we've made it red there in the status line. So now if we zoom in, we should be able to select the symbol now. I'll just regen, select the symbol, right click and pick copy, and then click in the center of the symbol. Now as I move down, each click, if you like, is 150 millimeters, which puts Mondo grass at about the right sort of density for me, and I can repeat that copy and go horizontally across in the same manner. So as long as you keep a little bit of an eye on your cursor and make sure it's running horizontally or vertically, we can put the symbols in. Clearly we want to pick this add generic hash symbol and go to tools and draw order and bring it to the front so that the Mondos sit underneath the elm. So now to complete, we can use the mirror option by just selecting these, right click and go to mirror, and as a mirror point we'll pick the midpoint of the 1 meter square, just right click and make sure we've got with copy, and they're now mirrored, and again we pick the inner Mondo grass symbols there and mirror those with the midpoint here. And if we can either go for another midpoint or just click with our cursor horizontal. So now if we zoom out, so we've got one of these sort of planting areas in this highly formal garden design that was developed by one of our students, and he's given us permission to play with it. We're going to turn all of this into a block a little later and copy it down from that area through there, and then we'll mirror the whole design on the right hand side. So I hope that helps in understanding a little the use of the polar and tracking option. We can just double click on the status line there too, and that turns off. Also use the function key to turn it on or off. So it's a very useful tool. Well, I notice that the Mondos down across the bottom are not placed the same distance away from the edge of the planting hole, and I need to move them. Everything's full size, so I can say what's the distance from the center of the planting there, so it's 45 millimeters, and what's the distance from this edge to the center there, and that's 85. So if we take 45 off 85, we get 40. So if we take these symbols here and simply say let's move them down in, we'll put polar on now, but what we don't want is our tracking on, so we need to first go to Drafting Settings and take the distance step. We want to track but have no distance step, because we're going to move these vertically down 40, and now they're positioned the same distance away from the edge.